I liked beer. I still like beer. But I did not drink beer to the point of blacking out.
Everybody comes in, your grandmother, your father, your mother, your brother, your cousins. They come in so easily, so crazy. But everybody comes in, your grandmother, everybody comes in, your grandmother, everybody comes in, your grandmother, your father, your mother, your brother, your cousins. They come in so easily, so crazy. So crazy. Everybody comes in, your grandmother, 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 your father, your mother, your brother, your cousins. But everybody comes in, your grandmother, everybody comes in, your grandmother, everybody comes in, everybody comes in, your grandmother, everybody comes in, your grandmother, everybody comes in, your grandmother, your father, your mother, your brother, your cousins. Everybody comes in, your grandmother, everybody comes in, your comes in, your grandmother.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. So, did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe.
Isn't it wonderful to allow protest? Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No. Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No.
Not good. Believe me, not good. Not good. Not good. Believe me, not good. Not good. Not good. Not good. Believe me, not good. Not good. Not good. Not good. Believe me, not good. Not good. Not good. Believe me, not good. Not good. Not good. Believe me, not good. Not good. Believe me, not good. Believe me, not good. Not good. Believe me, not good. Believe me, not good. Not good. Believe me, not good. Believe me, not good. Not good. Believe me, not good. Believe me, not good. Not good. Believe me, not good.
The truth of the matter is that when you look at some of my policies, the truth of the matter is that when you look at some of my policies, in a lot of ways, Richard Nixon was more liberal than I was.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Can you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
no good, really bad for you.
$7 million for reef fish management. $25 billion to combat Asian carp.
What is up, users? We have made it to the end of the intro with no disaster scenarios. So that's good. That's great. That's a positive feature of the world. Where the fuck is my cell phone? Okay, here it is. Time for the check my phone segment, folks. Checking my phone. All right, folks. So today, is going to be a day. So I apologize for yesterday. I don't know if I need to apologize, but I am going to anyway. Yesterday was a little bit of a bad day for me. Not great, folks. Not great. So, but either way, feeling pretty decent. No spiders in the vicinity. To my knowledge, I think we're good. And yeah, so that's beneficial to the world. Oh fuck me. Okay. Hold the phone, folks. Hold the motherfucking goddamn phone. So I've made a critical error, an error of critical proportions. It's not critical. I just forgot to transfer protest files to my computer, so gonna take a little bit to do that. But anyway, again, I want to apologize for yesterday. Again, you know, I'm deathly afraid of fucking spiders. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. Like, I am deathly afraid of spiders. So, especially ones that I've never seen before. You know what I mean? Like, I've never seen that spider before. So it's like, I didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? Like, I panicked, I freaked out, and now I'm alive. So that's all that matters. I'm having weed withdrawal dreams. I went to a Sparks concert and Trump was there. Oh shit, fuck. Okay, hold up. My desk is broken, so please give me a moment to fix it. Okay. I think that's okay. Whew. Alright, let me copy and paste these files. Okay. Copying and pasting some files. Alright. Let's see what the ETA on this shit is. Alright, this is going to take a while. It's not even giving me an estimated time. Alright, folks. So, I apologize for not doing a proper recap yesterday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a proper version of the recap yesterday. Today. Show the progress bar on screen. I don't know if I'm going to do that. That's an optional. That's optional. I don't know what to tell you. It's optional. Alright, okay. So it says 15 minutes. Oh, 12 minutes. Hold the phone. This is me holding the phone, but I don't want to like pull it because then the cable will come out. But that's me holding the phone. Eric Adams all but confirmed as New York mayor. That's a shame. I'm glad I don't live there. All right. I know a guy who lost part of his finger due to a brown recluse spider bite. Yeah, I'm not interested in that. As far as chat comments are concerned, as far as information, I'm gonna be honest. I am not interested in that whatsoever. So I'm just letting you know. Where am I doing? Here it is. Trying to find my coffee, which I'm almost out of. Whoa, whoa. Okay, hold the phone. The person the cops killed with their car in a high-speed chase turned out to be Darnella Fraser's uncle, the girl who filmed George Floyd. Really? The Jimbo Dumbo battle lines are drawn. Okay, so folks, yesterday I was going to start up the... people have been requesting my take on the Kyle Kalinske and Jimmy Dore drama. Yesterday, I was going to start it up, but then, the universe had other plans. So today I'm going to do the protest recap. And after that, I'm going to watch Kyle Kalinske's original 30-minute video. And it might take me a few shows to get up to date, but I want to watch the content. I'm there for it. I will be probably watching it at like 1.5x. And this is one of those situations where it's like all sides are cringy. So for me, it's just going to be great. I know TYT has waded in a little bit more. They've posted a little bit more content. So I'm going to be viewing the content. We're going to get back into it. The GMC versus post-revolution battle lines are drawn as they should be. As they should be. All right. So I believe, if I remember correctly, the day before yesterday was day 76 of the protest. I'm queuing up my footage. Yeah, but Sal, I don't care about Vaush. Like, I mean, like, as far as watching their content for, like, entertainment value, maybe. But I'm not going to watch it on stream, right? I don't care about Vaush. I think Kyle is definitely honest, and that's the thing about him that's so hilarious, is that he's honestly really stupid. Hey, no offense, if fellow ski, Rovenski, Kalinske, we come from the same clan, okay? So, I don't want to be out there talking shit about the fellow skis. That being said, the guy is not that bright, so. Bodan, what? 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 Alright, folks, the files have concluded. Alright. So the day before yesterday was the 76th day of protests in the city of Elizabeth City and the county of Pasquotank County over the police murder of Andrew Brown Jr. And so what we've been doing is we've been doing marches on Main Street. As you can see, this is Main Street, where the courthouse is and other city and county buildings are. And then what we do is we get in our cars and we go to county neighborhoods. and we basically scream out of the bus and make people understand that our presence is here. We have a presence, and that's it. So we did our march. There it is, and that's it. That's the march, and then we got into the vehicles, and so we'll go from there. All right. Whoop. So what we do is we get into the county, folks. So I put my phone for some classic B-roll. I put my phone in like the corner of the bus next to the window. So it just kind of, you know, gets us traveling. So yeah, we travel into the county neighborhoods that surround the city of Elizabeth City. And we've been protesting just because a lot of these people have not interacted with us in any capacity. We've been protesting mostly in Elizabeth City before the county expansion that we did. And so now what we're trying to do is bring the protest to random neighborhoods. Again, I don't know who lives there. Other people might know who lives there, but I don't know who lives there. So it's very possible that we go to some neighborhoods that people who don't like us would be living at, or people that have, you know, instigated against us could be living at. But so anyway, we travel at light speed into the county neighborhoods, as you can see. Bada boom, right there you go. We're going fast, and that's what's happening there. So, and then. Let me see. Does this... you can't see it, unfortunately. Hold the phone. Okay. I'm getting my clips in order. But yeah, it's fairly difficult to get good footage of the car protests because it's very samey. Like, we're just sitting in the bus, and this is what I was trying to say yesterday, but I came off very poorly. We mostly just sit in the bus and do chants as the bus slowly drives through neighborhoods. And so, like, as far as actual footage goes, like as far as the artistic aspect, it's fairly difficult. This is me sneaking out of the bus to get a shot of the cars behind us, as you can see. So I'm pretty cool. And so that's that. So I'm sneaking out of the bus, grabbing a shot. That's me. I'm the artist. So yeah, so we went through one of my favorite parts, and I don't think that we got the footage of it, but one of my favorite parts was we had this guy with a "Fuck Biden" sticker on his truck and some other stuff like Trump 2024, all that kind of shit. And then they drove past us obnoxiously and looked at us funny through the window. And then as we were going through the county neighborhood later, like 10-20 minutes later, we saw their truck in the driveway, and it was pretty fucking funny. And so, that was entertaining. We see a lot of Confederate flags out in the county as well. It's honestly kind of pathetic. But, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? The bus, paint it black. That's up to the owner of the bus if they want to paint it black. But anyway, I would say, yeah, the day before yesterday was a good day of protesting. Now I'm going to go get into yesterday's protest, which was also a good day of protesting. So, again, very similar. I wanted to show this dog picture. This is a dog. As you may see, this is a dog. This dog was with us on the journey yesterday. And this is a beautiful creature. I love this dog. And so, yeah, that's the situation that we were in. We were dogging it up, folks. I don't know what to tell you. So we did, yesterday, again, we did the march down Main Street. And so, as you can see, we had a little bit more people yesterday than the day before yesterday. And that was pretty cool. I don't know who that cop was, but, they were there. They were existing. As you can see, the dog, the aforementioned dog, is right there. And there's the dog. So we go over here and we get into the bus, folks. Get out of the street and get into the bus. That's the motto here. And so we got out of the street and then we got into the bus. And so you know, that's what we did. And so I think we saw some more Confederate flags yesterday too. There's so many Confederate flags out in Pasquotank County, man. These motherfuckers are crazy. Like, they really are, like, just batshit bonkers. Like, imagine it's the year 2021 and you've got a Confederate motherfucking flag. You know, the worst part about these motherfuckers as well is that they've got the Confederate flag and the United States flag, right, in the same, and, like, they have them both together. And as you can see, here's a dog. That dog was sitting right next to us. And so, yeah, so this is us chanting out of the windows. That's me putting my phone on my lap to drink some water. And again, we went through some other neighborhoods. We're basically trying to hit as many of the neighborhoods as we can in the county. And then once we kind of do that, we're going to start, you know, mixing up tactics. You know, maybe we'll go back to a neighborhood twice. Maybe we won't go back to a neighborhood twice. Maybe we'll go back to a neighborhood 5 times in a row. Maybe we won't. I don't know. So, you know, I'm just a participant. But yeah, so this is us out the window. The phone is on my lap once again. And there you go. So, again, overall, I would say that the protests have been very, very, very positive. I do like the driving protests. I think they're cool. I would like to get back over to marching because I think that's way more entertaining for me personally. I like walking. Here's some fields of produce being produced. And as you can see, this is me putting my phone down once again because I don't know how to control myself. The bus is going pretty fast here. You know, we're speeding up through the farms and then, you know, bada boom. But yeah, so again, overall pretty good days of protesting. I'm a huge fan of, you know, just everything. You know, we've been going for 77 days in a row. And I think that that's incredible. I think that that shows incredible fortitude. I think it shows incredible grit. I think it shows that, again, you know, like, this is something that people here take seriously. And so, you know, there's a lot of people out there now that we're going into the county. There's a lot of people out there that just assume that the protest stopped because they stopped reading about it on the news, right? And that's why it's so important that I document as much as I can, because the news is trying to suppress the movement, plain and simple. Like, you know, there's very few outlets that are actually trying to showcase what is going on. And so that's why I find it so valuable to do these daily updates. And so again, now that we're going into the county, people are they're having to be faced with the idea that yes, these protests haven't stopped. They're not going to stop. And like, and not only are we not going to stop, but we're going to go to your front door if we deem it necessary. And so that's like, you know, it really kind of does show that, again, there's an incredible fortitude in Elizabeth City and Pasquotank County and surrounding areas as well. You know, all my, you know, Currituck and Camden and Dare County friends. But anyway, you know, like, again, it's great. The sense of community is great. The sense of camaraderie is fantastic. And all in all, I'm a huge fan of what everything and everyone is doing here. And I hope that the overarching bend of this protest is going to be a positive one. I hope that we do get progress in the end. I don't know when that will be. I don't know how long it will take, but I do hope that we do get something good at the end of this. And again, until that happens, we're not going to stop. And so that's kind of the idea that we're dealing with here. And yeah, so that's day 76 and day 77 protests in the city of Elizabeth City and the county of Pasquotank County over the police assassination of Andrew Brown Jr. on April 21st. And again, we're not going to stop. And plain and simple, that's all I got for you. You guys should start designating a video person whose entire purpose is to take the main video. That's me. That's my role. Alright, so what do we got here? There's some cringe in the chat. Let's hold the phone, folks. The phone is being held. We got some cringe in the chat, so let me scroll up a little bit. Whew. Please don't use the word female like that. It's cringe. When did I say female? Are you talking about someone else? Does the megaphone volume go up to 11? I bring it up to 11. Oh, never seen a more pretentious female as... Reminder, folks, Crystal Ball follows me on Twitter. That needs to be understood. Crystal identifies as a ball. That's incredible. Anyway, so again, I'm going to be delving into the Kyle Kalinske Jimmy Dore drama. So that was originally scheduled for yesterday, but you know, we're gonna get into it.
So this segment is being recorded.
Shut up. We're gonna start here with Kyle's video on June 30th. I know I'm a week old, but again, I've been so busy. And let me start my video with this. I've been so busy doing daily on-the-ground activism and protests that I have not had time to catch up with this ridiculous internet drama slap fight between, again, I don't want to be the person here that's going after this guy, Kyle Kalinske. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be going after Kyle. We're fellow skis. I'm a ski. He's a ski. We're skiing together, and I'm going to have to go after this guy. So, you know, and again, I'm not going after them with negativity. I am a very positive person. But again, we've got this very epic drama that people have been requesting, hounding me. I would even say I've been hounded. And not by Max the Dog. Max the Dog has been pretty good. He's on the floor right now. But I have been hounded, folks, from all directions. When are you going to cover Kyle Kalinske versus Jimmy Dore? When are you going to cover Jimmy Dore going crazy about Kyle? Well, today is that day, folks. So I want to start at the beginning. This is a week ago on June 30th. This is when Kyle addresses Jimmy Dore and Aaron Mate versus TYT. So for those of you that don't know, this scoop is Aaron Mate is a really, most charitable interpretation. Aaron Mate is a horrible journalist. Like, an internet fucking, blogger who pretends to be, a high-stakes journalist who has never really done anything, actually noteworthy in his entire life. But he's a podcaster, and so he tries to leverage his journalistic credentials to make himself seem cooler than everyone else, as you know, in his podcast career. Versus, he was on Jimmy Dore's show and they did a bunch of stupid shit, and then Jimmy Dore, made this story public in January where he sexually harassed Anna at multiple points when they worked together. He's been talking about that since January. And, I've mentioned that before, so, I don't want to go that far back. But apparently, I guess they're the recent cope with Jimmy Dore and Aaron Mate is they're claiming that Anna Kasparian is blackmailing them. So the way I see it, blackmail is withholding information unless you get a reward, right? So you solicit a reward, and if they don't give you the reward, then you stop withholding the information to make it public. And if you do get the reward, then, you don't make the information public. So, Jimmy Dore has been constantly going after Anna's, attire. I don't really know the whole thing there. At least since January of 2021. And so Anna eventually DMs him and says, hey, can you stop that shit? If you don't, I'm going to go nuclear, basically. And that's not blackmail. I'm telling you, that's not blackmail. Blackmail would be, hey, Jimmy, I know where you got your money from. And if you, that's blackmail. It's not, hey, Jimmy, you know that story you keep mentioning? Well, I'm going to fill in the gaps in your story if you don't stop fucking harassing me on Twitter and YouTube. That's not blackmail. I'm telling you that right now. Definitionally, it's not blackmail. Now, does that mean I'm a super fan of TYT? Nope. This is one of those situations where I think every person participating is cringe. Now, I like Anna more than anyone else in this story. I will say, I think Anna's pretty decent on a lot of things. I like her show on Jacobin. I don't watch it as much as I used to, but, whatever. Maybe it's cringier now. It's possible. But I'm just throwing out my biases. I don't really like Kyle Kalinske. I think he's kind of silly. I think he's A little bit, transphobic, a little, but not, necessarily in the malicious way. He's just kind of stupid and refuses to educate himself on anything and refuses to talk to trans people or gay people on anything about that kind of stuff, and it's a little ridiculous. I think Jimmy Dore is a genuinely reprehensible person. I think he is a horrible actor. I think Aaron Mate is cringy. I think Cenk Uygur is cringy. I think most of these people are cringy. So, and so Kyle has been basically hounded. Kyle has been trying to play both sides. This is something he's been trying to do since January during the Force the Vote bullshit. Kyle's been trying to play both sides because he knows that Jimmy Dore has a huge pull in his fan base. He knows that. And he knows that Jimmy Dore being his friend behind the scenes has made his credibility tank because Jimmy Dore's credibility has gone, not just, it's not just tanks. Jimmy Dore's credibility has come out the other side, folks. Jimmy Dore's credibility has gone through the Earth's core and is now beaming out into, like, another fucking galaxy. That's how fucking far away his credibility has gone. It's nowhere, folks. It's nowhere to be found. And so Kyle finally has made a stance. And so, again, people have requested that I talk about this. So here I am talking about this. And we're going to do 1.5x and we'll see how it goes.
So this segment is being recorded pretty late at night. I actually didn't have the time to prep a normal show for you all. I was going to prep a normal show for you all, but then a giant wrench got thrown into those plans because there was a little bit of Twitter drama that unfolded. There were some passive-aggressive shots that were taken at me. I didn't take kindly to that. And so now I feel like my hand is being...
I believe what Kyle's talking about is Jimmy going on Twitter and basically talking about how shitty Kyle Kalinske is and how beta he is and pathetic and weak he is, which is true. It's true. Kyle Kalinske is a beta male. That's a fact. But it's not because he didn't defend Jimmy Dore when Jimmy needed defending. It's because during the entire last 7 months, he was nowhere to be found. Crickets. Gonzo. I lowered the volume. Chill out. And so there was this moment where Jimmy Dore was making fun of Kyle on Twitter saying, haha, ratioed. And then when you look at Kyle's tweet, the ratio is people saying, bro, Jimmy isn't good. Please stop both sizing this. That's the ratio. So Jimmy Dore is proudly, talking about how beta Kyle is. And then when you look at why people are calling Kyle beta, it's because they all hate Jimmy Dore. And they think Kyle should stop defending him. So this is a really hilarious situation. I guarantee you can make a couple of fucking sitcom episodes about this. So let's keep going.
Enforced, and I have to weigh in on an issue that I don't want to weigh in on. So I'm a little cranky. I'm a little tired. I don't really want to be doing this segment, but now I feel like I have to do this segment. Because of the timing of all this, it has fucked up the potential for a normal show tomorrow, which is a shame because I'm going to have to hop in my car and go to DC, and I don't have enough time to prep and do a show and get all that stuff taken care of. But anyway, enough on the backstory and the current situation. Let's dive into it. So obviously I'm going to talk here about the drama between Jimmy Dore and Aaron Mate versus the Young Turks. So I just want to reiterate, I don't want to do this segment. I don't want to talk about it. I've bent over backwards to stay out of this fight. Now, some of you might not like that. I don't care. I don't care. I'll never hide a single thing from any of you when it comes to policy. But when it comes to personal shit, I don't want to get involved in it, and I want to stay out of it. And that's always how I've been. That's always how I will be.
So I just want to say, I do respect that. A little bit. I respect it a little bit, okay? But there's a point, right? I mean, I guess this is the point where he decided to, but I think the point where that whole thing, like the whole focus on policy, again, if that were the case, Kyle would, read a single book on policy ever, just a single book. He's had the same opinions for, 10 years. He's not updated his opinions at all, right? So if he were only caring about policy, he would read one single book in the last 10 years. That would be useful. And update his perspectives a little. But I get it. You don't want to get involved in internet slap fights because it makes everyone look stupid. I understand, right? But Jimmy Dore has been a toxic force in the internet for a while now, really bad. And also, on policy, the guy's a freak show. Jimmy Dore is a pro-capitalist, pro-imperialist loser, right? He just, tries to pretend to be a little bit, edgy, anti-authoritarian, and then people, swoop in and will, apply these perspectives to him that he does not have or possess in any capacity. When has Jimmy Dore ever been anti-imperialist? Can you tell me that, by the way? When has he ever been anti-capitalist? Could you tell me that, by the way? All of his actions are pro-capitalist. He's doing a bunch of stupid bullshit to get people to watch his internet show. That's as pro-capitalist as it gets. He's been flip-flopping on positions like Medicare for All for years. Whatever's the more popular that gets him the most YouTube subscribers, that's the position he's taken. He used to be against it, then he was for it, then he was against it, then he was for it, then he was against it, then he was for it. So for people to treat him like a champion of Medicare for All, I'm sorry, but you're Looney Tunes. You're a little bit bonkers. And again, Aaron Mate is just cringe. Like, this guy is like a fucking, like, small-time loser that has just tried to make up his own career, and, like, as he goes, and then he's got people like Jimmy Dore that are going to talk about how he's a brilliant journalist. And I don't care. If you want to, like, if he's done something pretty cool and you want to tell me about it, feel free to do so. But I have not seen anything interesting from these people. And it's possible that I'm in an echo chamber. It's possible that I just haven't seen anything interesting from Aaron Mate because I don't care about him enough to look into it. That's very possible. So if you want to provide to me some noble things he's done, feel free to do so. But until then, I think he's cringe.
I hate drama. This is some fucking drama shit. And I want nothing to do with it. So, the reasons why I want nothing to do with this, number one, it's obvious. Jimmy, Cenk, and Anna are all personal friends of mine. So it puts me in a really weird place. Now, you can pretend like that's not a good reason, but you all know it's a good reason, and you all know if you were in my shoes, you'd feel the exact same way. But the second reason is probably the more important reason, which is it's ugly and it's personal, which is all the more reason for me to stay out of this. And by the way, I should also add, I'm speaking on behalf of Crystal as well here, because she also has desperately wanted to try to stay out of this. But
oh shit, Kyle is speaking on behalf of Crystal. Someone who is barely involved in any capacity and who also has horrible policy positions. But that's...
clearly I can't. She's
Kyle's still too loud. Alright, I'll lower it.
Somehow managed to still not have to really dive into it at least as much as I'm about to right now. Alright, so, we're going to break this down. Everybody understand, and please, for the love of God, listen to every word that I'm going to say here. Don't listen to parts of it and then get triggered and then shut it off and fucking...
Can we talk about this fucking shit? Like, I'm sorry. Like, okay, he has almost got 1 million, but can we talk about this? This is just, like, that in the foreground. I
freak out or whatever. He's not on my team and he fucking tweeted him. I'm not going to read your shit. Everybody calm the fuck down. There are two separate conversations we're going to have here. There are policy conversations and there's personal conversations. Two separate ones. It's not all the same. It's not all the same. There's policy stuff and there's personal stuff. Saying that up front. So I'm only weighing in here because I've been dragged in. I have to give you my take now on every little aspect of this. And so that's what we have to do. Let's bring the timeline back. It wasn't always like this between Jimmy and TYT. You don't believe me? Take a look.
Lo and behold, the Young Turks opened up their door to me, and I walked in. And we've been working together ever since. And I remember Steve-O was there, and I met Anna that first time, and JR. And it was, I was so, it was such a fun place to be. And so I was real thrilled and flattered that they invited me to be part of their group. And one of the funnest times of my life was the Bernie Sanders campaign. And so I just want to thank Cenk Uygur and everybody at TYT for including me. I've been blessed with good people.
This is great. Honestly, this is great. This is like, was this when he left TYT or something? Was this his I'm leaving TYT announcement? Again, you can tell that this is all for money. Like, if they had like a sanctimonious breakup, why did Jimmy Dore do this puff piece? If he's such a truth teller and an honest actor, maybe it's because bashing TYT wasn't profitable at that time and it's profitable now. Is that possible? Is that possible? Just throwing that out there.
And, it was a real stroke of luck that I was able to work with the Young Turks and Cenk Uygur. So good luck to them going forward. And again, I hope we can come together and work on something in the future.
All right, so Jimmy Dore
Jimmy Dore spat on Alex Jones. And the only epic thing he's ever done. That was pretty badass.
Exited the building, and I think that a lot of you probably have seen his video talking about that. And he used to host Progressive, this show, along with the Jimmy Dore show. And so first thing I'd like to say is, I love Jimmy Dore. And I always have, and I hope that I always will. And so it's certainly not anything personal at all. And we had wonderful, wonderful moments on air with Jimmy throughout a great number of years here at the Young Turks.
In the background.
That is what I call a love fest. That is what I call people who have deep admiration and respect for each other. That wasn't that long ago. That wasn't that long ago. So since then, I don't want to paint an overly rosy picture. Of course there have been disagreements. There have been deep disagreements about Syria and Russia and force the vote and other things. But at that time, we were sort of at the peak of Russiagate. And I know, because I know all these people personally, that the Russiagate thing bothered Jimmy just as much off air as it did on air.
Okay, I gotta talk about this. I'm sorry. Russiagate doesn't exist. The whole Russiagate thing does not exist. That was like the biggest, like, bizarro. I never understood it. I'm gonna be honest, right? Like, I started paying attention to politics during the 2016 campaign, right? I never for a single second understood what the fuck Russiagate was. Like, Russia clearly, duh, motherfucker, influenced the election. If you don't think Russia influenced the election, I got news for you. You're dumb as fuck. Now, the question, I guess, that was the dividing line was whether or not it changed the result. Who cares? It is a factor. That's the end of the story. You can't just say one factor above all else changed the result of the election. That's called being a dumb motherfucker. I'm sorry. Right? So was it Hillary running a horrible campaign? Probably. Was it every other country in the world influencing the election? Probably. Was it Russia influencing? Probably. Was it like fucking, people like, liking Trump in because of his TV shows or whatever? There are so many different factors. To say that it was Russia only and that was it, that was the tipping point, I'm sorry, that makes you stupid, right? But to say that Russia never influenced the election at all is also stupid. It makes you a dumb motherfucker. And also, that, like, above all else, talking about it. Anyone who ever has uttered the word Russiagate, like, without sarcasm or irony, I got news for you. You're dumb as hell. I'm sorry. It's like, Russiagate. What the fuck was Russiagate? Who cares? Like, imagine, like, being like, Kyle, 1 minute. I'm all policy. Kyle, for the last 4 years, Russiagate. What the fuck is that? Seriously. What the fuck was Russiagate? It was ridiculous garbage.
It sort of ruined friendships.
On both sides. The liberals who think that Russia secretly, single-handedly overturned the election, dumb as fuck. They're stupid as hell. But the people that think that, oh, Russiagate's the biggest story, we gotta debunk Russiagate. What? Russiagate debunked itself, dude. Like, seriously, like all these people that spent years debunking, like, they did it themselves. Like, I was like, if you're dedicating any amount of your time whatsoever to debunking Russiagate, I got news for you. You are Russiagating. Newsflash, you are Russiagating. As a verb, because people can do that. You are Russiagating. If you have spent any time more than like this right here talking about how stupid it is, you are a dumb motherfucker. I'm sorry.
He couldn't believe that there were people who were falling for that bullshit. And so the more
Again, Russiagate, I called this too, like Russiagate was a big dividing factor between the dumbass motherfuckers who got too, like, into internet fucking culture wars, because who gives a shit? If you walk outside and you talk about Russia, is anyone gonna know what the hell you're talking about? Go outside on the street, hey, what's your opinion on Russiagate? The person's gonna say, huh? If you are waiting in line at Wendy's, right, and you talk to the person behind you in line, hey, what do you think about Russiagate? Huh? No one's gonna know what the fuck you're talking about. It was a purely online drama internet slap fight. So again, the idea that Kyle pretends to be policy focused, I'm sorry, I respect the goal, right? But like, I mean, he fell for that shit hard, hook, line, and sinker. Because again, part of the fucking meme was that the whole thing debunked itself. Like, anyone would look at that and go, like, obviously that's not the only factor, but obviously they tried to interfere with the election, and that's a problem. Duh. End of story. Right? But if you're spending years and years debunking Russiagate, like fucking Glenn Greenwald and all those other fucking weirdo, like, they're weirdos, dude. Michael Tracy, the fucking strange, like, people, right? Those people are just as stupid, if not dumber. Because at least the people that believe that Russia single-handedly overturned the election, I mean, at least they're trying to do something. They're trying to, like, stop Russian interference, which is a problem, right? So at least, and maybe are they overshooting? Yeah, absolutely. Right, but this whole idea that Russiagate was going to cause World War III as well, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. The whole Russiagate was going to cause World War III narrative, ridiculous. Like, that was worse by an order of magnitude than anything that the liberals were trying to do. The liberals were just saying, yeah, Russia needs to, be, inflicted in some capacity over what they tried to do in the election. I agree. Now, should it be sanctions? I don't think so. Should it be war? Absolutely not. I personally think that you should strengthen your systems. If your systems are able to be hacked, improve the systems, right? That's what I think. But either way, again, they at least had some sort of goal, maybe. But the other side was like, it's gonna cause World War III. I'm like, and they're making it like it's the only big problem in the world. I'm sorry, bro. Like that was you sound like a fucking loser.
TYT would cover it, the more angry he would get. And then what would happen is Jimmy would go on air and do his show, and he would never like directly or overtly call out the Young Turks at that time, but there would be like little pot shots here and there about how, other lefty shows are not, telling you the truth about this Russiagate thing. And so that went on for a long time. I think at some point, eventually, somebody at TYT caught wind of the fact that Jimmy was taking shots at them. And, that led Anna to go on Twitter and basically say something along the lines of, I think Jimmy's a grifter and I don't think he's an honest actor. I don't agree with Anna on that. She said that. It was fucked up. But as soon as I read that tweet, I said, uh-oh, here we go. This shit is about to get nuclear, because Jimmy Dore has one gear, and that gear is nuclear. And I was exactly right. So Jimmy sort of went nuclear a little bit there. Now, it didn't really get, irreparable until Force the Vote. That's when it became irreparable. Now, to this point...
Okay, so... the idea that you think Jimmy Dore is nuclear... What does nuclear mean? Seriously. Him being nuclear implies that he is doing it on behalf of leftism or leftist ideology. That's the implication. That he believes what he believes and it's the right thing and he will defend it to the death passionately. That's what that implies. When in reality, he's doing everything for himself. He's not anti-capitalist. He is pro-capitalist. His actions, his behaviors, and his policy positions, they show that, right? Two, he is not anti-imperialist, right? He has said several times, he for example, supported the Bolsonaro coup in Brazil. That's not anti-imperialist, right? So he is not anti-imperialist. He is not anti-capitalist, right? He just goes nuclear in the sense that he has anger management problems. That's him going nuclear, having anger management issues, going crazy and getting drunk on stream and going ah! That's not nuclear. That's being an immature little fucking dung brain, dude.
On the substance...
oh yeah, and we're going into Force the Vote. So okay, let's go.
Jimmy so far. So when it comes to Syria, when it comes to Russia, when it comes to Russiagate, when it comes to Force the Vote, none of this is a secret. You guys have seen all my fucking segments. You know where I fall on those policy issues. It's the most obvious thing in the world.
Force the Vote's not a policy issue. Russiagate is not a policy issue. I'm sorry. The idea that Kyle thinks Force the Vote and Russiagate are policy issues? Seriously though, is he dumb? I'm gonna be honest. Really?
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
My favorite policy issue, Force the Vote and Russiagate.
But now we get to this new round where the war has ramped up, and it really is a war now. So this recent round all started with this video from the Young Turks talking about Aaron Mate in their postgame.
They said Aaron Mate yelled at me. And so
Aaron Mate, Aaron Mate. Everyone cares what Aaron Mate has to say, right? The guy who denies that Syrian children were killed with chemical attacks. Yeah.
And
fuck
gets
Aaron
paid by
Mate.
the
Yeah, fuck you.
Anyway,
let's move on. Let's end the freaking pod. I can't.
Okay, see, that's what happened.
I can't stand that guy, and I can't stand the very intentional disinformation they put out there in regard to disgusting dictators around the world. The very people they seem to be working for, to be quite honest with you. Let's move on.
All right, we're done.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
So let's state the obvious. That was gross. That was a smear.
Okay, so how is that obvious? Okay, were they maybe a little, ferocious in their fucking statements? Absolutely. Right? And maybe, did they get, factual things wrong, or, misremembered, or, didn't say it in the most eloquent fashion? Sure. But, the idea that, Aaron Mate is, not pro-Syria... the only things I know about him is, he works for the Gray Zone, and the Gray Zone gets money from Syrian governments. And that's all I know. That's all I know. And that's enough to know that there's enough there for me to be a little bit interested in what that is about. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just throwing that out there.
Sir, but the first time I watched it, I literally laughed out loud. Cenk was just mad that Aaron, responded to one of his tweets on Israel and Palestine where Cenk said something about sky gods, and Aaron dunked on him. But everybody dunked on Cenk for that tweet. Hassan Piker, his nephew, dunked on him for that tweet. Cenk took it personally that Aaron went after him on that tweet, and so I think that's what led to this segment, or this portion of the postgame. But yeah, there's no excuse for this. This is ridiculous. Of course, Aaron Mate is not paid by dictators or paid by the Russians. He's a great journalist who's done a lot of great work. So what do I think of that? of course, I think of that the exact same thing that all of you fucking knew I thought of it, which is like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. And also, let me say, I get McCarthy smeared all the time. Anybody who took the position that I took on Russiagate gets McCarthy smeared all the time. I literally debated...
Okay. McCarthyite. I'm gonna be honest. Anyone that uses that phrase is a dumbass. 100%. Because again, what was McCarthyism? It was anti-communist. Is Kyle Kalinske a communist? Is Aaron Mate a communist? Is Jimmy Dore a communist? The answer, no, no, and no. Is Cenk Uygur a communist? No. Is Anna Kasparian a communist? Honestly, maybe. I don't. Maybe she's secretly a communist. She gives off those vibes. But she's not openly a communist. So how can you be the victim of a McCarthyite smear when you're a pro-capitalist, pro-imperialist, just not the U.S. imperialism? I hate U.S. imperialism. Wink. Right? Like, how can you be McCarthyitely smeared if you're not even a communist to begin with? It's just like, one of the things these people do is they love to try to use historical words without knowing any of the surrounding content, and they make themselves look stupid. Okay, none of these people are communists. None of these people are anti-capitalists, right? None of these people are really anti-imperialists. All of these people are just internet podcasts, like, you know, losers. Again, Aaron Mate might have done some journalism. Feel free to let me know about it, but Jesus Christ, man.
On the issue of Russiagate. One of the many reasons I stopped reading my Twitter mentions is because I would get McCarthy smeared. So listen, Aaron is upset that Crystal Ball and I haven't commented on this until now. And listen, again, for the record, he's a victim in this. He didn't do anything wrong. He's minding his business. He's a lovely dude, and then he gets this from TYT. It's super fucked up. In my defense and in Crystal's defense, the reason why we didn't say anything about this is because we thought it's fucking obvious. Of course, of course they look ridiculous in this. And I don't think they're convincing many people, bringing many people to their side with stuff like that. Right? Wouldn't you agree? And then also, listen, when I got into my, scandal about my old tweets when Mike Cernovich dug them up and wrote an article calling me a sexist and a racist and all the negative things in the book, nobody defended me. And listen, I'm totally fine with that. I never held a grudge over it. I never thought, like, how dare, all my friends...
I love this part, actually, because, like, he's basically, what he is saying here is Aaron Mate is a whiny bitch, and Kyle is saying, you never backed me up, why should I back you up? That's what he's saying. So this is some scoop here. Okay, so Aaron Mate is a whiny little beta male, and Kyle Kalinski's kind of dunking him. Like, this is like a big dunk. I'm going to be honest. I'm loving this.
Lefty circles not coming out of the woodworks and, put their neck on the line for me. I just thought, listen, this is par for the course. I don't expect everybody to come. I'm not entitled to other people going out there and responding for me. I just thought, hey, it is what it is. This isn't high school. We don't have cliques. People can think whatever they want to think, and I'll handle it on my own. And it was the exact same thing with Crystal when it came to that article that Nathan J. Robinson wrote not that long ago, where he basically argued that she's emboldening Nazism because she does a show with Sagar, who's populist right, and populist right is like what the Nazis were, so therefore...
Okay, I gotta rewind this because this is some pretty dumbass shit, so let me scroll this back a little bit. Okay, so first of all, there is no such thing as populist right. 100%... Okay, so you're in favor of building the wall. You're in favor of poor people not having health care. Or are you in favor of poor people having health care? Are you, because Sagar has argued against Medicare for all, but then said poor people should have health care, but then argued against Medicare for all. So, what is populist? It doesn't mean anything. Populist right, like any other right-wing ideology, is different every single day. It's whatever the big guy says. The guy whoever's in charge of the movement, whatever they said last is your opinion as someone on the right. That's it. There is no such thing as populist right. But here's Kyle Kalinske. He's going to pretend that the populist right is something that exists.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
To other people going out there and responding for me, I just thought, hey, it is what it is. This isn't high school. We don't have cliques. People could think whatever they want to think, and I'll handle it on my own. And it was the exact same thing with Crystal when it came to that article that Nathan J. Robinson wrote not that long ago, where he basically argued that she's emboldening Nazism because she does a show with Sagar, who's populist right.
Correct.
And populist right is like what the Nazis were.
I just want to say I 100% agree with that analysis of Rising and Crystal shows with Sagar. 100%. I am not in any disagreement with Nathan Robinson there. Just
therefore, you're being like too soft on the right and too soft on Tucker Carlson, and you're basically like emboldening Nazis and stuff. It was a silly article. I don't think Nathan's arguments were very good, but Crystal fucking hated it.
Wow, I disagree with an article about someone that I do a show with. someone wrote an article that was a little bit mean to someone that I work with and rely on for money. And of course, I am not going to criticize that article. I'm just going to say it was silly. Like, come on.
That shit. She read it and she's like, fuck this shit. And nobody defended her. So, you know.
Why would you need to be defended when the article was right? It's a correct. And again, I just want to say, Crystal Ball follows me on Twitter. Crystal, it's all good if you make mistakes. That's fine. Just, own up to them and work better on it. Like, I'm just throwing that out there. I know you follow me on Twitter. I know you're a huge fan of Above It All. I'm just throwing that out there. So
I don't think she cares. She was upset by the article, but she's not mad at other lefties for not, like, immediately coming out there and responding, because it is what it is. It's not that big a deal. We all go through this shit online. People always say shit about us, and we could all have our positions on it, but it's not like, we're the Justice League rushing to everybody's defense at every moment. I watch this stuff unfold like everybody else watches it unfold, and sometimes I just look at it and I'm like, well, that's dumb, and I move along, and I don't, do a whole monologue.
Again, I just want to say, what he's doing here is still, Aaron Mate is a whiny bitch, and he's never backed me up, so why the fuck should I care? That's what he is saying here. That was a really long-winded way to say it, but that's what he's saying here.
Whatever over it. So anyway, listen, I'm not trying to make an excuse. What happened to Aaron was wrong. But I think that's so obvious that I'm like, really? You need me to say it? Like, you don't know what my position already is on Russiagate? You don't know what the things I've said on Russia? You don't know the things I've said on Syria? Like, I'm fucking 100% in alignment with Aaron on all those things. Would I agree with him on all that and then turn around and be like, I think TYT's right and he's paid by fucking Russian dictators? I mean, honestly, it's absurd. So, after that happened, Jimmy and Aaron responded. Makes perfect sense. They responded a number of times. Makes perfect sense. Aaron has gone on a number of outlets to respond. He wants to sort of clear his name. I don't blame him for that at all. The Young Turks then doubled down and brought on some idiot who parroted the State Department line on Syria. It was really sad to watch. It was like, what are you doing? Don't double down on this. You're so wrong. You're not even close to right. It was just sad to watch.
I gotta say, I don't know what that's referring to, so I can't comment on it. But the State Department, like, one of the other things that these people, like the little cringe crew of Gray Zone adjacent people, they love to use, like, words like State Department, McCarthyite. They love to do this, like, anti-U.S. language while supporting other governments and like, just, denying that, certain atrocities. Like, for example, a lot of these people, they just think that there's nothing wrong with Maduro's government in Venezuela or, for example, like the government of China, right? They think that those things are fantastic when, again, any rational person would say this is maybe better than a fascist alternative. However, there's still a lot of problems, right? Those are the things that really just, again, they're not anti-imperialist, they're anti-U.S. And so they use these bizarre, like, language kind of tricks to try to convince you that they're anti-imperialist, by convincing you that your genuine anti-imperialism is actually pro-U.S. imperialism. It's a nice little bait and switch.
But then there was another escalation. And the escalation came when this happened.
And I'll tell you this story. The story about that was followed by an apology card you wrote me for degrading harassment. Anna Kasparian used to dress, when I worked there, unbelievably inappropriately for a newsroom. She looked like she was going to a rave. The skirt, one time she came into the newsroom with a skirt so short, it wasn't a pencil skirt, it was like a fluffy one too, but so short that she bent over in front of me and I literally saw her ass. And so we were, it was so, we were about the Max. Now, Max, where would you like to take the conversation?
I love that part.
Yeah, so let's bring in Max now. Max, where would you like to take the conversation?
Yeah, this isn't really where I thought the conversation was going to go. I don't have the same history with these people.
I love, like, let me sexually harass my former coworker. Hey, Max Blumenthal, welcome to the show. What do you have to say? Like, wow, right? Like, I would have hated to be that guy right there. Like, I just, like, gee.
I have no problem with Anna Kasparian's style of dress.
My reaction, as I was listening to that live, and by the way, I was with Crystal when it happened, we started cringing more and more the more Jimmy talked, and ultimately my reaction was exactly like Max Blumenthal's. In that moment, we are all Max Blumenthal. And understand something, guys, my issue is actually not with the original incident that Jimmy's talking about there. Now, to be fair, Jimmy says, hey, it was a bad joke. Anna says, it wasn't a bad joke, it was Jimmy commenting on me in a sexual way in front of my students. Her students were in the room at the time. Now, I wasn't there, I'll never know exactly what happened. I don't think Jimmy's a sex pest, I don't think he's a criminal, I don't think this is a hashtag #MeToo thing. But my issue with the thing we just saw,
again, this is another thing that I really hate, is Kyle does this straw man thing. So, did Jimmy fucking sexually assault Anna? No. Therefore, he did nothing wrong. What? What? What he did was cringy, like, very creepy, disgusting, bizarre, and definitely sexual harassment. But just because there's like one person on the internet who might have said it was as bad as rape or something, and like that doesn't mean that that's automatically the prevailing opinion, and you can just escape any sort of nuanced conversation by pointing to the straw man that no one believes. It's a little cringy.
Sex pest. I don't think he's a criminal. I don't think this is a hashtag Me Too thing. But my issue with the thing we just saw is what he just said right there. Oh, she dresses inappropriate. Inappropriate? Who the fuck are you to determine what isn't appropriate for her? Are you a fundamentalist Christian?
I agree.
I mean, that's like some hardcore Republican thing to say. And if I'm being objective about this, even though Jimmy's my friend, if somebody spoke about my mom or my sister or my girlfriend like that, it would take every fiber of my being to not want to beat the shit out of them. Because that's humiliating. And he admits that it was a humiliating thing in the segment, but then it doesn't occur to you that maybe bringing this up again and talking about it in the way you're talking about it is like gonna humiliate her yet again? That doesn't occur to you? So listen, I just look at that and I think, that's kind of gross. And so my initial reaction was, and I still feel it to this day, is, whoa, okay, I want nothing to do with any of this. So like to that point, sure, at any point I could have jumped in and regulated and been like, all right, come on guys, Jimmy and Aaron are right about X, Y, and Z. The Young Turks, you're wrong about most of the policy.
I love that like Kyle's basically just saying the whole time, I want no part of any of this. And then, right, in Kyle's like centrist both sidesism, he happens to be getting hated by both sides. So Jimmy has thrown him to the wolves. Jimmy and Kyle are done. Jimmy has thrown this motherfucker to the wolves. He's being eaten alive right now. And then the TYT and like other like, you know, similar crowds or whatever, anyone that just disagrees with Jimmy Dore, really, they don't have to agree with TYT, but anyone that disagrees with Jimmy Dore, they all think Kyle's a weak little whiny beta male. So this guy is like, he's getting torn apart and it's fantastic.
See stuff here, let's be serious. But I could have stepped in at any point there before that and been like, here are my thoughts on the whole thing, and everybody would have been like, okay, it's fine. Once this happened, I was like, oh shit, I don't want to go anywhere near this. I don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, dog. And listen, I think you're lying if you don't think that's understandable. Of course that's understandable. What a weird position I'm in as friends with all of them, and then this is unfolding in front of me. So Crystal and I were planning to have Jimmy on Crystal, Kyle, and Friends one day. We were planning to have Cenk on Crystal, Kyle, and Friends one day. And then as we watched this, we decided, you know what? We don't want to have either one of them on right now. Because then we would be responsible for getting in the middle of this absolute mess. And we would have to ask really uncomfortable questions that are really personal in nature. And I don't want to have anything to do with some personal shit. Nothing at all. I care about policy. I don't care about personal shit.
I care like policy, like hashtags on Twitter and common conspiracy theories that I champion. Those are my policy positions. Hashtag.
In this sort of stuff. So, you know, people might disagree with us on that. People might like the fact that it's, you know, you'll get a lot of clicks out of it, and it's like some reality star fighting stuff.
Oh no, I just want to say I have no problem with Kyle staying out of it. My problem is this video. Like, my problem is him, like, still defending Jimmy Dore. That's my problem. Right, that's my problem. My problem is not that if he would have continued to stay out of it, I would have actually respected him more. But now that he's put himself in, he has put his feet into the waters, he did it in the worst way, but that's my problem. That's my problem.
I don't want anything to do with it, man. I don't want anything to do with it. So now you might be saying, okay, well then why are you talking about it now? Well, the reason I'm talking about it now is I was dragged into it because I think Jimmy's upset that I'm not crusading in his defense or something, or agreeing with him 100% on every aspect of this, policy-wise and personal-wise. So he did some passive-aggressive stuff today on Twitter that caught my eye. The first thing, as you can see here, is he liked this tweet. Somebody tweeted at Crystal and me and said, seriously though, you're ignoring the Syria story completely to avoid drama. Weak.
Folks, GTA 6 trending.
Now, of course, I responded to this with a bunch of question marks because the idea that I ignored the Syria thing is factually wrong. I covered it literally on my last show, and it was the very first video. You want to know why? Because I never, ever, 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 ever shy away from anything policy-wise. The policy shit is my job. It's my job to come out here, give you news, give you facts, give you information, and give you my opinion. And so that's what I do. What is not my job is some weird interpersonal beef regulation, which now, unfortunately, I've been dragged into. But again, I want nothing to do with that. I'm going to reiterate that 1,000 times throughout this segment. So, listen, the tweet that he says, you're going to ignore the Syria story, and I quote, completely.
Okay, can we talk about, like, okay, these are grown adult men with close to 1 million subscribers each on YouTube, and they're getting into a fight because one of them liked a tweet. Like, I'm sorry. Like, hashtag force the vote is my favorite policy, and my friend liked a tweet that I don't like. Like, I'm sorry, but like, oh my god. Oh my.
To avoid drama. No, I'm avoiding the drama to avoid the drama. I'm diving headfirst into the serious shit because that's my fucking job. And of course I'm going to dive headfirst into it. So I see that, I'm like, what are you doing, Jimmy? What are you doing? You know I'm going to talk about serious shit, and I did talk about serious shit. So why are you liking a tweet that says I didn't talk about the serious shit? And then we got this response from him. So he says, and he's quoting somebody else who said this, but this is the sentiment he agrees with. I think they are talking about the OPCW cover-up and the slanderous conduct of your friends Cenk and Anna in trying to destroy the reputation of Aaron Mate. But you can keep pretending that doesn't matter, I guess. Okay, so we already talked about the Aaron Mate thing. The other thing they're talking about here is the OPCW report. They're claiming I never said anything about it. Really? This is from my very last live stream. So we're the rebels in Syria we are the rebels in Syria doing the chemical attacks on the people. So we're, it says W-E'. I think this person is saying, was it the rebels that did the chemical attacks on the people in Syria? You guys had to, follow this stuff. The OPCW whistleblower, I don't know if you guys remember this, but this just came out not that long ago. It turns out that all the claims from the Western governments were total bullshit, and they had no evidence for it. So yes, the claims of the chemical attacks against the civilians in Syria done by the Assad government, that turns out to be total bullshit. And it's not me saying it, it's whistleblowers who were at the UN who were like, that's not true at all. This was a big story, but it was kind of hidden. It was only like Aaron Mate and a handful of other people who really blew the whistle on it. So, and listen, I'm going to toot my own horn here a little bit, but yeah, I called that one from the beginning. It was very similar to this. Saddam has weapons of mass destruction, and it was not true. And in the case of Assad, I don't know if you guys remember this. Remember when Assad gave up all of his chemical weapons? Remember that? There was a moment where it was like John Kerry.
How he puts his, his argument is that he covered it. He doesn't need to play the whole fucking segment. Like, this is just him fucking his own ass right now. Right? He has to have everyone know how right he was. When the argument was, they said that you never covered it. Here, I covered it. You just need to play like a couple seconds, bro. That's it.
Or he was going to attack his own civilians with gas, which would bring the West right back into it. It's nonsense. And it turns out we learned it was total nonsense. Now, that's not even the only time I brought it up. I brought it up 3 or 4 times. I've done literally over 100 segments on Syria. Now, granted, most of those, almost all of them are about the Civil War, but, since we got the OPCW whistleblower and Aaron did that great work, almost every segment on Syria, I've brought up that fact. So, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I'm doing policy shit exactly right, yet I'm still somehow getting these weird passive-aggressive criticisms. So here's the bottom line, guys. Everybody needs to stop dragging me into some bullshit. This has absolutely nothing to do with me. If they want to keep duking it out, they can keep duking it out. I don't buy this notion that, well, everything they're doing is talking about policy. Nonsense, because if that was the case, well, guess what? I've done 103 segments on Syria, 82 on Russia, 16 on Russia Gate. I debated Cenk on Russia Gate. I did 217 segments on Medicare for All, and maybe about a dozen referencing directly or indirectly Force the Vote, and I was a supporter of Force the Vote. So everybody knows where I stand on all the policy stuff. Yet I'm being dragged
Again, almost none of that was policy. Russia? What does that mean? I've done segments on Russia. What? I just yeah, I talked about Russia. That's not policy, that's like news and current events. Medicare for All is the only policy that this guy mentioned here. None of that is policy other than that.
And I don't want to be dragged into this, because it has gotten ugly and it has gotten personal. And the final point I want to make is this. Here's where everybody's wrong, okay? TYT accuses Jimmy of being a grifter and a right-winger. They're wrong on both of those things. It doesn't matter what you think of Jimmy, personally or otherwise. He's not a grifter. He believes every word he's saying. Guaranteed. I know Jimmy. That's a fact. He believes every single word he's saying.
Okay. One thing that I want to tell you all that grifters will do is they will treat every conversation like a chess move, right? If you're trying to grift and all your friends are famous. Now, again, it's one thing if none of your friends are famous and you're the only person famous, or you're trying to become, that's a whole different concept. But if you know that all of your friends have 1 million subscribers, 500,000, 300,000, these people get paid by foreign governments. If your friends actually have political and financial power, I've got news for you. If you're trying to grift, you're not going to be 100% transparent with those people. I'm just letting y'all in on that.
The idea he's a right-winger is also ludicrous. He's attacking Democrats from the left. He's attacking the left flank of the Democrats from the left.
No, he's not. Again, this is another common thing that they try to postulate, is that they disagree with Democrats, therefore they're to the left of Democrats. What? Name one policy that Jimmy Dore supports that's to the left of AOC or Ilhan Omar, or Cori Bush, or Jamal Bowman. Give me one policy. It's not Medicare for All. He didn't support that up until just about a year ago. He was anti-Medicare for All during the last election. So, wasn't Medicare for All. Force the Vote is not a policy. It's a way of attaining a policy, right? He is to the right on social issues. He is to the right on economic issues. He doesn't support, like, anything that's anti-capitalist, right? Ilhan Omar, Cory Bush, they're trying to, like, make public utilities free. They're trying to end the drug war, right? Like, Jimmy Dore, and maybe Jimmy Dore's talked about the drug war a little bit, I will say, but, like, you know, he's not talking about all of these things. Again, they literally think, you want to force the vote? You're an ultra-communist. Here's your badge. Welcome to the club. What is that? That's what they think. They literally, genuinely think force the vote is a policy. It's not. It's a strategy. And they think it's the ultra-uber-left communist position. What? And then let's look at the actual real-world application and effect. The Democrats have less power. The squad has less power. That's the effect. That's the net result. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean...
Now, you might not like that. You might think some of his attacks are unfair. You might think some of his attacks are misleading, or whatever. We're not going to get into that now. I got 1,000 criticisms and 1,000 points of agreement. But he ain't a right-winger, and he ain't a grifter, okay?
Yes,
at the same time, Jimmy accuses TYT of being basically corrupt and being liars. I disagree. You know who else used to disagree? This guy.
No, actually, I was wondering about Cenk because, you know, I saw Cenk at the e-board meeting and I asked him some tough questions about how he's taking money from Jeffrey Katzenberg. You know, he got a $20 million investment to hire some journalists. And so far, I haven't seen a lot of them, you know, doing the original investigative reporting that they're supposed to be doing. I see a lot of punditry. And unfortunately, on the main show, it tends to be kind of mainstream. You know, does he think that this money that he's taken from the establishment Democratic Party would influence him? And of course, he says it hasn't. But now we see, you know, this reporting about Russia. So I know that you may not want, you have to choose your words very carefully, but
I don't think I don't think Cenk is preaching a false narrative for investment money. I think he truly believes it. You know, Cenk is what I call a natural Republican, right? So he was a Republican at first for a long time, and he talks about this openly about how he even led pro-Iraq war rallies, right? The first one, and so that's why people are drawn to him, because it's this great journey where he went from this meathead into this progressive, right? And so that's what appealed to me about his journey and about Cenk. So I think
care.
If he is what we can support, bomb Syria over that, and they believed it,
and it was proven false.
It was since proven false.
Jimmy's 100% right there, and that wasn't that long ago. Let me break this down further. Listen, TYT took investment money from a guy by the name of Buddy Roemer. Buddy Roemer is a former Republican politician. Now, when they took that money, did they then turn around and on the show they started supporting Republican politicians and pushing Republican policies? No, they didn't, right? Because the whole point of the deal was, hey, we're only going to make a deal if you have zero editorial control over the show. Cenk would only make deals with people who would have no editorial control over the show. So that's exactly what happened with Buddy Roemer. He took money from a former Republican politician, and they didn't end up backing Republicans nonstop. Now, it goes deeper than that too, though, because he took money from Katzenberg. Did that make him change his opinions? No. I got news for you guys. If you've watched TYT for a long time, you'll know this. He's always had a lot of cringe opinions. So, for example, before he took money from Roemer or Katzenberg, Cenk always referred to himself as, and I quote, a mild interventionist. What? He has always been relatively hostile to protectionism. He says he believes more in free trade than other lefties like me and Jimmy. I don't know what Aaron's position is on free trade and protectionism, but I know Jimmy is more in alignment with me on that. Cenk was always like, I'm more of a free trader. Cenk has always been sort of openly hostile to unions. There's clips back from TYT in like 2008 where he mentions unions and he's like, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of unions. So listen, I disagree with Cenk on all of that, but I disagreed with him on it before he took investment money and after he took investment money. And this is a guy who walked away from $1 million MSNBC contract because he felt like they were going to muzzle him. So then would he turn around and take investment money for his company for them to muzzle him or force him to change his opinions? No, he wouldn't do it. Now, again, I want to be clear about something. This isn't me saying, you can never disagree with TYT. Of course, I have 1,000 disagreements with him. Again, I literally debated Cenk on Russiagate, okay? And there's a million other things that can go on.
I think the thing about this video that it really boils down to is that he is trying to have a nuanced conversation with people that are not interested. Like, look at these dislikes, right? All of these people, I guarantee you, are not watching the entire video. Right, they go to the thing, they maybe watch like the first 10 minutes, and then they leave a dislike and call Kyle like a weak McCarthyite, you know, whatever the fuck. Like, he's trying to reason with unreasonable people, and the only reasonable people are the ones that he's trying to like throw under the bus. That's really the ultimate issue with this. He's trying to appease things that cannot be appeased.
On about where I think they're wrong, but it's definitely not that they're changing opinions because they got the money. They would only take money from people who left them full editorial control and wouldn't impact the direction of the show. If you dislike the direction of the show, you could dislike it on its own merits. You could dislike it because you disagree with Cenk and Anna. It doesn't have to be because of the money thing, and they're, nefarious, twisting their evil mustache behind closed doors like, I will now change direction of the show because I got the money. Listen, the only criticism I have on that front is they made a lot of bad business decisions. I think it's gross if you take investment money and then you also turn around and do grassroots fundraising. Don't do that. Because then the people who are giving you the grassroots money, they feel like they're the ones who are funding the whole shit, and then you're also raising investment money. I just think that's gross. I think that's a bad business.
Okay, I don't get it. I'm going to be honest. I don't get it. Would I prefer a world where we can grassroots fund everything? Absolutely. Right? But TYT is not a political campaign. They're a business. Right? Like, they're a business. So if the business is trying to turn a profit, which again, I'm the anti-capitalist here, so I would turn it into a co-op and I would make it a non-profit news organ. But that's just me. But if a business is trying to turn a profit and the owners are trying to profit off of that and become wealthy, why wouldn't they take investment money? You just said it doesn't affect their opinions. You just said it doesn't affect that. So let's say they only listen to grassroots funders and they ignore all of the rest of the investment money. They just get it and use it. What is the problem with that? I don't understand what the problem is. If you I'm just throwing that out there. I personally don't get it.
This decision. I think the optics of taking investment money, whether it's from Romer or Katzenberg, I think the optics are terrible. On that alone, I would have said don't do it. Never mind the fact that they did it and they did grassroots fundraising. But what I'll tell you is this. Jimmy believes every word he says, and TYT believes every word they say. And so, listen, in summation, this is all I have to say about this. I'm always going to tell you guys exactly what I think on policy stuff, because that's my job. That's my job. But
again, this guy literally thinks Russiagate is a policy position. How do you feel about Russiagate? I am pro Russiagate. What? I just don't understand the policy aspect. It's just like an interpretation of a conspiracy theory. What is your interpretation of a theory? This, that, the other, and then Russiagate. I really don't understand how he convinces himself that that's a policy position.
Personal. Especially with people who I know and am friends with, I want absolutely nothing to do with it. I want to be a million miles away from it. So, I don't want to hear about some #MeToo shit. I don't want to hear about some bickering. I don't want to hear about how you think somebody's a grifter and a right-winger, and you think somebody's corrupt and they're a liar. Basically, as long as they're calling each other grifters and right-wingers and corrupt and liars, and as long as we're having the conversation about dressing inappropriately and shit, I'm out. Not only do I not want anything to do with this,
again, dressing inappropriately. Like, I'm sorry, that's not your summation. That should not be how you reference that in shorthand. In a 34-minute video, if you're going to reference that in shorthand as dressing inappropriately, I'm sorry, buddy, you didn't learn much.
I don't want anything to do with them either. Them. I'm done with all of them. Because I'm an adult, and I got no time for this high school type shit, okay? And you might think it's not high school shit, but you're wrong.
No time, folks. I have news for you. There's another hour-long video. I'll get into that one tomorrow, though.
Wrong. Because if we are just talking about policy again, I got dragged into this shit. Because supposedly, oh, no, it is all about policy. Is it really? Well, then, you didn't think that, what are the numbers again? My 103 segments on Syria, my 82 segments on Russia, my 16 on Russiagate, my 217 on Medicare for All, and maybe a dozen on Forced to Vote. That wasn't sufficient for you to understand where I am policy-wise in this conversation? So listen, on the policy stuff...
You didn't watch the entire history of my YouTube channel all at once before liking a tweet on Twitter while you were 3 glasses of wine deep at 11 p.m.? Like that?
Yes,
what?
I happen to agree much, much more with Jimmy and
It's fucking
Aaron,
Twitter. Like, again, this is the guy who's saying he's above it all, which he's not. I am. But this is the guy who's saying he's above it all, and he gets dragged into it because someone liked a tweet on Twitter. That's what drags you into it? A Twitter like?
On the personal stuff, at this point, I want nothing to do with any of you guys. And if you don't like that, you can fuck off. And I'm not just talking to them now, I'm talking to people in the audience who might not agree with how I'm approaching this or what I'm doing. I don't fucking care. I don't care. I'm an introverted guy, I don't like drama, I'm being dragged into some bullshit, so what I'm doing, dipping my toe in the bullshit because I got dragged into it, and I'm getting the fuck out, and I'm gonna be nowhere near it. Okay? And I hope I don't get dragged into it again, or I have to respond again to some shit.
I got bad news for you, past Kyle. Kyle from 1 week ago, I got bad news for you, bud.
Don't want to do it, I don't like to do it, but if I gotta do some shit, I gotta do it. And that's why I'm doing this segment right now. But hopefully this is the last thing I have to say about this. I want nothing to do with it.
Spoiler, narrator, it was not the last segment.
1,000 miles away from it, and you should respect that, but if you don't respect that, I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck, he says days before doing a 1-hour follow-up video. So again, I think this is hilarious. This is like an anime to me. This is just like people like yelling at each other and like fucking like attacking each other, and like it's hilarious. This is so goddamn hilarious to me that I'm going to, of course, watch the hour-long follow-up tomorrow. and that's going to be fantastic. I will also be watching Jimmy Dore's like reaction to these segments tomorrow as well, and it's going to be funny as fuck. So I just wanted to, you know, people have been requesting my take on this. Here it is, part 1 of the, again, I hate to be in this situation, attacking the fellow ski. I don't want to be going after the people of my ancestors. I don't want to be going after them. My fellow skis and I were all very close. And y'all have made me weigh in on this drama. You dragged me into the drama by liking a tweet on Twitter. I couldn't control myself. I couldn't control myself because I saw someone like a tweet that I don't like. Darn. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if it were like Jimmy Dore made a show where he called me like a fuckhead and said that I'm a bitch, okay, sure, respond to it. But Kyle's like, he liked a tweet on Twitter and I didn't like it. The fuck? I don't know, like...
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
That's it. That's all I got. Again, above it all, folks, that's all I got. Does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns? I have a lot of concerns, but, you know, I'll table those for now. My nose is a little leaky for some reason. TYT Greenwald video? Yo, I don't know if I'm ready for fucking Greenwald to get into the mix yet. That might have to wait until next week. Next week on Internet Drama. This is kind of random, but is making fun of someone because their last name is gay homophobic? Whose last name is gay? I mean, good for the cause, sure. I don't have any problem with that, Top Damage Wizard. I rate people on multiple different scales. Do I like them personally? Right? Do I think that they do good stuff in a like, if the rest of the world was irrelevant, right? Is the content itself, is the art itself good? I judge people on that level. And then also, where they fit into the puzzle pieces of the world. You know what I mean? So it's like, those are two different equations. Like, so I can think Vaush might be good for the world, or bringing, you know, reactionaries to the left. That, sure, that's a different conversation than, do I like Vaush's content? Because personally, everything I've seen, I'm not terribly impressed, I have to say. Dang, perfectly good drama spoiled by nuance again. I know, can you believe it? Anyway, folks, it's almost noon. This is like a classic episode of Above It All. We're bringing it back, folks. Okay, well, again, I can like someone's videos, but then also it's not, you know, like where I am in my life, what I want to spend my time listening to, that, you know, that doesn't strike me as being, like, if I have, like, let's say 2 hours to spare, would I rather listen to a Vaush video, play a video game, watch a movie? I'm going to be honest, Vaush is not on the list at all, but, like, that's what I mean by that. Anyway, folks, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'll see you later.
They're not accountable to anyone.
I get 10 to 12 million views a month, and they won't come out and address my progressive audience. They won't come out and address Bree's audience, or Katie's audience, or Justin Jackson, or you. They are not accountable to us. They're accountable to the whoever the fuck themselves. Let's not kid ourselves. As Chris Hedges taught us a long time ago, the people attracted to politics are the most mediocre of people. They're not your friends. They are elected servants, and start fucking treating them that way.
I hear Brownie is seconding you in the background.
They're not your fucking friends. They're the people standing in between us and fucking healthcare. They weren't coming because they couldn't get in. Once they think they can get in, they're coming, and they are coming at levels that you haven't even seen yet. They weren't coming because they couldn't get in. Everybody comes in, your grandmother, your father, your mother, your brother, your cousins. He comes in, your grandmother. He comes in, your grandmother, your father, your mother. He comes in, your cousin. He comes in, your everybody. He comes in, your grandmother. He comes in, your cousin. Comes in your grandmother here. They're coming all over the place. 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 They're coming all Everybody comes in your grandmother.
That the most potent force in the Republican Party is President Trump. We need Trump plus.